with the transition of power from Donald Trump to Joe Biden now complete? Emphatically, actually. What with the unsigning of so many executive orders previously made by Donald Trump by Joe Biden, what's he doing? Stamping his authority there, quickly. Is that essential? It might be essential to do that. I don't know about power politics, but a little part of me imagines that Joe Biden doesn't want to be seen as weak, at a guess. Is that why he went so quickly to unsign all those executive orders? I have no idea. Maybe he was being churlish. Maybe he wanted to insult half of America, the half of America that voted for Donald Trump. I think it might have been something to do with, I'd better stamp my authority nice and quick. The political imperative probably cuts in at this point. My goddaughter argued that it would have been more sober, responsible, whatever, I don't know how she put it, to not do them in such an unseemly rush. And I'm inclined to agree with her. Actually, the chat I had with my goddaughter about that was interesting, I thought, this morning, because I came out with all guns blazing and said, good job, that, unsign them all, mighty quick, and she said, hang on a minute, it's unseemly in some respects, isn't it, have a closer look, and she actually swung me around to her way of thinking to a large extent, and I ended up agreeing with her and saying it was unseemly, and 75 million people did vote for Donald Trump, so probably Joe Biden should have, in a more transparent and open way, debated each of those executive orders carefully, with, in the open, where people, so that we could all see his rationale for unsigning each of those executive orders. I could see that point, and because the reason I might have been so pleased that he just went unsign them all so fast, is kind of me being a little bit, stick that in your face, Donald Trump. But I'm not even an American voter, so maybe I was enjoying it too much, and I think my goddaughter was hinting at all of that, Hubris is a very bad thing, when your side gets in, you shouldn't do it, and she argued that there might have been a more respectful way to go about this. She put it in different words than that, and she swung me around to her way of thinking. So there you go, and this is why I enjoy our dialectic so much, as we call it, because I do think we're the kind of opposite of the way people argue things out on social media, for example. My goddaughter and I propose something, and we don't debate the thing. She just says, we do it. We have a dialectic, where I put something forward, and then she puts something forward, and we've both got the same aim. You see, we've both got the same aim. That's the difference between a dialectic and a debate. With a debate, the two parties have got different aims, so we don't do debates. She and I. My aim, when I'm in a dialectic, is to have my mind turned around, as is my goddaughter's, whereas in a debate, the idea is to turn the other person around. And on social media, the idea is to just have a shouting match. So, she turned, look, at least she modified my thoughts. I probably still hold on to the idea a little bit that he needed to stamp his authority or something like that. But all in all, I think it was unseemly, the haste with which Joe Biden, signed 17 executive orders in a couple of hours? Straight from the inauguration to the to the Oval Office to sign all these things. I think if he wanted to be different from Donald Trump, it might have been a good idea to say, listen, I want to unsign one of the executive orders. The others don't need to be unsigned on day one. I want to bring the American people with me, and that includes Donald Trump supporters on the other 16, and another 35 that I want to look at later. But I'll do that over the coming weeks. The one that I want to unsign straight away in the first hour, because I want to make a statement about it, is the COVID ones, because quite obviously, to all rational people who know how to read statistics and how to read science and all that sort of stuff, Donald Trump didn't know how to handle that one. But as regards all the other ones, even the Paris Climate Accord, yes, of course it's important in my mind, but I have to bring the American people along with me on this as much as I can, at least. I probably still will end up doing what I intend to do, and that is rejoin the Paris Climate Accord, but I'm going to at least it's not going to make much difference to the environment if I take a week, is it? So I'll take a week. I think if he wanted to come across as different from Donald Trump, that might have been the way to go. And to that extent, my goddaughter turned me around, and isn't that the very idea of a dialectic? It's why my goddaughter and I are not on social media together. It's why I'm not on it at all, because you can't do that sort of thing on social media. You can only shout. Anyway, well, except for all the millions of people who do that sort of thing on social media, I'm sure. Look, I was on Facebook quite a few years ago now for a bit, under a false name and mostly for a joke, and I did get into some really good discussions with people. There would be around about, I reckon, 500 million people much more intelligent and wise than me on Facebook and Twitter. So, I don't think I'm smarter than all those people just for not being on social media, on Facebook and Twitter. Whatever. Anyway, I'm just extolling the virtues of the dialectic process, and why not? But just wheeling around again to the behaviour of Joe Biden, how he behaves in his first term. Couldn't that, whether that be in the first hour or two when he's unsigning so many executive orders with unseeming haste, or how he plays the next 4 years altogether. Is that the sign of things to come? Let's say the Democrat side of things in America, depending on how they play the next 4 years, if they play the game as almost revenge politics and all that sort of stuff for the next 4 years, and we won and all that sort of thing, hubris, and if they are dismissive of the extremely large percentage of Americans who voted for Donald Trump, because when you say, if they do all that stuff, could they be inviting, well, maybe not Donald Trump back? I'm not sure that he'll ever be allowed to run again, but maybe Donald Trump squared, cubed, Donald Trump on steroids, the next version. Maybe an idiot even, who's also got, a total idiot, who's nevertheless got, maybe Donald Trump Jr. Stranger things have happened in history, back in Rome and in every other place. You never know who's going to get up and become the next kind of dictator, because Donald Trump didn't have a democratic bone in his body. He didn't have a military bone in his body either, which is actually kind of a plus in a way, except that can get a lot of people killed too. But he was the first person the first president since the 1970s to not start a war. Well, that's something, isn't it? I'll leave that one to the military experts to debate as to whether he was good on that front or bad on that front. Look, Donald Trump was good in some ways. He had the economy sorted, I think, and he had China sorted too before the virus hit and all that sort of thing. But he was horrendous in so many other ways, But depending on how the Democrats play the game in the next 4 years, if they're wise, they won't do whatever they were doing wrong last time that invited Donald Trump in. Because you can argue that the reason Donald Trump got in is because the Democrats set the environment for that. They stuffed up somehow. If they hated Donald Trump, if they didn't like the way Donald Trump got in, well, in this world, you need to take responsibility for yourself when things like that happen. You must have done something wrong yourself to let someone like that take over from your man, Obama. You must have done something wrong. So if Biden does something wrong, if he plays the game badly in the next 4 years, if he goes too fast, too hard, too Trumpian, except in the left sense or whatever, he's not that left. But if he doesn't bring the Trump supporters along with him, well, they might come back and bite him harder than they bit Barack Obama. And we might see 4 years from now Donald Trump or Donald Trump Jr. or someone far worse than both of them re-signing all those executive orders, but not within the first hour or two of the inauguration, but on the dais. The next one. Look, imagine Donald Trump is the Gracchi brothers back in ancient Rome. Who started the Gracchi brothers? Started the process of the pulling down of the Republic. Now, and then look, just for fun, imagine Donald Trump Jr. gets in next time. Okay, so he would be your sort of, your Marius, the next dictator that came along. Sulla was, and then Marius, whatever. And then the next, maybe someone else will come in, and that can be your Sulla character, and then Marius can get in. It might be someone called Marius, just for the historical neatness. But these might all be merely the John the Baptists to the real Jesus that's coming along later, and depending on and that was that was Pompey, Crassus, and Julius Caesar. Maybe Julius Caesar is still to come. Someone who doesn't only have some of those Donald Trump instincts of bringing down, the Republic and democracy and all that sort of stuff, but also is militaristically a genius and all that sort of stuff. Who's got more arrows in his quiver than Donald Trump could ever imagine. Donald Trump is essentially a one-trick pony. He knows how to make a deal, and he knows how to play economies and all that sort of stuff to a certain extent. I think he really does, via unorthodox methods, but he doesn't know how to foster institutions and how to encourage good media and encourage good politics and encourage good social structures and all that sort of stuff. He doesn't know how to do it. He smashes all that stuff, Donald Trump. He smashes it all. He doesn't know anything about an independent, the value of an independent judiciary. He doesn't know about how to value any institutions really. That even the institution that is the election process in Western democracies, for example. He doesn't know how to honour those, obviously, because he lied about all that fraud. He lied. And he lied about many things throughout his term. Just straight lied. Yeah. We won in a landslide. Like, even if I was an ardent Trump supporter, I would know that that wasn't true. So he did lie. And then once you've established that he lied, and this is a whole other level of lying beyond ordinary lying that all politicians do, this is a fundamental lie. John Howard would have called it a core lie, like John Howard's core promises, versus non-core promises. There's core lies and there's non-core lies. There's core lies that are just going to bring down the entire republic. But there are other lies that are actually might even strengthen the republic. So there's different types of lies, and I support certain lies. Absolutely, I wouldn't trust the public with absolute truth on all matters, but there are certain core lies that will just destroy things like an independent judiciary, the political process in a Western democracy, that would drain the swamp of all politicians, all professional politicians, and in doing so get rid of not only the corrupt politicians but all the good ones too, because so many politicians, and I've met quite a few, or had dealings with quite a few through my own public service, and a lot of them are just wonderful, amazing, good people. Most politicians are very noble, and if you go draining swamps, they're all going to get drained too, aren't they? It's a very bad idea, and you'll end up with Donald Trump, the only virtuous person left. That was the plan, wasn't it? Yeah, but anyway, depending on, if Joe Biden doesn't refrain from what you might call revenge politics over the next 4 years, he might usher in a new Julius Caesar. And if such a new Julius Caesar comes along and brings down the republic completely, look, if someone bad rises up on the other side of politics from you, it's your fault. Take responsibility for it. Is there? That's the next thing I could take to my goddaughter. That idea. Was Donald Trump the fault of the left? Did they stuff up and invite him in? And if Joe Biden plays his cards wrong over the next 4 or 8 years and fails to respect what got Donald Trump in the first place, will a bigger Donald Trump come along later? And we might have Julius Caesar back once again. We've had him a few times, haven't we? Napoleon. That was another moment, wasn't it? That was another Rome moment. We might yet have another Rome moment beyond that. We shall see. Depends how Joe Biden plays this. But 75 million people did vote for Donald Trump, and in a democracy that needs to be respected, I think. Well, it doesn't have to be, but it's disrespected at one's own peril. That's what I reckon. But, this would be the start of another dialectic with my goddaughter, not the end of this episode.